Hi, Ahmed. Thank you for your essays. Let's have a look at the first one about schools. Should schools change the method of teaching, make it a more pleasant experience, and probably you mean, right? And make it a more pleasant experience? Or is it sole purpose to educate? Or is the sole purpose to educate, or is its sole purpose to educate? Okay. If you want to say it's here as the possessive, you really have to think about using this plural here, because you will need to change this to theirs, or is their sole purpose to educate. Really like the fact that you are using rhetorical questions, because this is a sign that you can handle complex language functions, which is great. In my opinion, I believe that school should be more entertaining. In my opinion, comma, I believe, and you don't need this comma here. This essay discusses both issues. I would say this essay will discuss, because you are announcing, you are showing your agenda, presenting your agenda, using examples from Keele University and the study conducted in Kenya to support arguments. Very nice. Firstly, school main purpose, schools, possessive, main purpose is to educate. However, and you need a semicolon here, not a comma. However, it is important to introduce other methods that make teaching and learning enjoyable, so that students develop a broad range of skills that is applicable during their workforce stage. I wouldn't say workforce stage here. You could say their employment stage, not workforce. This is because the more skills students acquire, the better their chances in the labor market are, right? We need two verbs, acquire versus are. Take, for example, a recent study by Keele University, Keele University Medical School, which found out you really need to remove this comma and use which as a relative pronoun and go on, making this sentence a relative clause, which found out that by introducing an alternative way of teaching called problem-based learning, you can punctuate it like this, or you can use a hyphen, up to you, where teaching is done by the students themselves in groups. They found, I think we have a repetition, found and found out here, that not only did students' grades, students' possessive, increase, but after graduating, they had developed and strengthened their problem-solving skills, which is essential for doctors. Thus, implementing other ways of educating students exposes them to a variety of essential skills. Yes, this is great, but you don't need this comma. The only thing though, yes, well, it doesn't really say whether it's children or college students, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, now let's have a look at the second paragraph. Secondly, if schools are not interesting, students will be less eager to learn, and also which will also decrease their likelihood to attend school, to attend it, right? To try not to repeat yourself if you have the word schools before. This is because, generally speaking, things that are forced or not fun, we tend to less of. What do you mean? You mean that things are not forced or not fun, we tend to remember less. Then you should probably say it like this. Okay. While things that are pleasurable and positively reinforcing, we do more of. We do more. I wouldn't use of, just more. For instance, one recent study conducted in Kenya found that by removing the traditional in-class lectures, the traditional lectures used in class, perhaps, I could suggest this, to outdoor and replacing them by outdoor, open field sessions, students students' yearly attendance drastically increased by 1/4 compared to the previous year. Okay, therefore, making school more entertaining improves students' participation. Great concluding sentences, great paragraph structure. This is very, very good quality writing, I can see. I might suggest that you try and avoid repetitions like the word school here and there, the word students here and there. So try to make sure that you use synonyms or synonymous expressions. To conclude, learning institutions should be a pleasant experience. Yes, by changing the method of teaching and introducing other forms, increasing, I wouldn't use by, just changing the method of teaching and introducing other forms of what? Other forms of instruction, you could say, not to repeat teaching. Increases students' engagement. Students should be possessive. Don't forget this possessive apostrophe because this is an error. It's a plain grammatical error, but it is an error. Engagement as well as helps develop essential skills. It is predicted, let's say it could be predicted that in the future the educational system will adapt and implement new interesting ways to educate students. Okay. Again, if you say that something is predicted, you can add the phrase based on the information or based on the arguments presented above, it could be predicted that. So this is a very nice essay, very coherent most of the times. Well, some of the sentence structure, grammar and vocabulary accuracy need a bit of work, but make a narrow list of everything I told you, and I'm sure that you can improve that in no time. Now the second one. In modern day society, reading is an activity every parent, try not to use this in essays, this is not appropriate. Every parent wants their offspring to engage in from an early age, as it is believed to help them develop the cognitive abilities, let's say. They're just, we can generalize. However, other enjoyable activities, and we're repeating ourselves, activity here and activity there. Yes, you will be forced to use the word activity very often, but it doesn't mean that you have to, right? So try to use a variety of expressions to replace the word activity. Okay. However, other enjoyable, you can say projects can help a child build essential skills that are needed when they grow older. This essay will discuss both issues using examples from a study by Harvard University and a survey carried out by German officials to support arguments, to prove points and support arguments, as we typically say. Firstly, reading has a number of beneficial skills. No, reading doesn't. Reading builds or develops, not has, right? You need the right verb here. Semicolon, however, comma. There are very few cases when you can use however between two commas, but when you have a complete independent clause, like a short sentence, that can be separated by a full stop, make sure that you don't put a comma. A comma is not for these purposes. The semicolon, this little thing, works like a full stop. However, engaging in sport activities can develop skills that reading alone cannot achieve. This is because sports like football help to improve teamwork and interactive skills, which are essential in workforce. Again, not in workforce. Workforce are the people, you know, but you can say which are essential while working or when a child becomes an adult and is engaged in the and becomes part of the workforce, if you want it. Take, for instance, a recent study by Harvard, again, not by Harvard, but by Harvard scholars. If you say by, you refer to the people, not the place, which found out or which revealed, better than phrasal verbs, that children who played in a team sport, in team sports, I won't use an article, in childhood, work more effectively, you need an adverb, in a group setting or in group settings. You either need the singular, but then keep it singular, or the plural without the article, compared to others with no history of playing, let's finish this, of playing such games. Therefore, adults who participate in a sport which requires, not where it, a collaborative work, no article, which requires collaborative work when they were younger, develop crucial skills that make them better employees. General, this is a general statement, so you'll need to generalize and use plural. Secondly, an activity like painting can boost a child's creative thinking as compared to reading, which is particularly useful in fields such as architecture, surgery, and pharmacy. Okay. I'm not going to be picky and ask why creative thinking is important for pharmacy, but reading can also develop creativity, and this is another argument that can, let's say, refute yours. So be very careful with the argument you build. So if you say that painting develops creativity and reading does not, think of all the fairy tales and wonderful stories that you can read and imagine these worlds and characters and animals and aliens and whoever are fairies in your mind. This is because people who started painting from an early age develop an abstract mindset that helps improve their creativity. Okay, which is not untrue about reading as well. A related study conducted in Germany found that about 95% of doctors and architects, plural, who scored higher on the creative thinking test, I hope this thing actually exists, had painting as their leisure activity, or let's say, engaged in painting as their leisure activity. For this reason, painting helps polish a child's creative skills, which is a skill reading alone cannot help attain. Repetition, skill, you really need to fix this repetition. A child's creative skill, which reading alone cannot attain. You don't even need help. Okay, nice paragraph, but perhaps, this sounds a bit confusing. For this reason, painting helps. No, for this reason, it is easy to state that painting helps polish and so on and so forth. To conclude, doing enjoyable activities with a child such as painting and team sports, like football, just use like football and drop the parentheses, helps achieve skills. We don't achieve skills, we achieve goals or milestones, but we develop or build skills or form skills that include creative thinking and interpersonal skills. If you have two items in your list, you need an and you need a linking word in between these sentences. Something like, thus, it may be said that in the near future, parents are likely to start introducing enjoyable activities to their children. Full stop, let's not forget it. Okay, this is a very nice essay as well. I can see that you're using the acronym very effectively. Just make sure that you take care of your grammar accuracy, because you see all these minor errors combined, put together, seriously detract from the quality of your writing. And just a simple reread can fix all this. So I'm really hopeful that my feedback is going to help you improve, and looking forward to seeing your revised and corrected essays and more new essays as well.